1 week after the first meeting with the Draith, the horizon had become a strange place. The ship now had 5 Draith visitors who wanted to learn more about humans. Captain Tae-Wan Kim had sent a full report to Alliance Central, but their response was slow in coming. "They simply don't believe us," said Do-hyun, reading the latest message from headquarters. "They think we're making up how well the meetings are going." Tae-Wan nodded. They've had centuries of difficult relations with the Draith. It's hard for them to accept that we're getting along so well. In the ship's largest meeting room, now called the Cultural Exchange Center, Hanul was showing the Draith visitors some Earth entertainment. Today's topic: horror movies. "So humans create these scary stories for fun?" asked Krazoth, his red eyes blinking in sequence. "Exactly," Hanul said with a smile. "We like to be scared in safe ways. It's a form of play for us." On the large screen, a classic monster movie was playing. The Draith watched with great interest as humans on screen ran from a large creature with sharp teeth and claws. "But the creature in this story looks somewhat like us," said Vextal. "Yet humans make toys of such beings." Hanul pulled out a plush toy monster from a box. It had multiple eyes, fangs, and tentacles. "This is a popular children's toy. Human children love to sleep with these." Murkor, the youngest Draith, picked up the toy carefully with his sharp claws. "Your young sleep with fake predators for comfort?" "Yes. The scarier looking, the more they seem to love them," Ji-un explained as she entered the room carrying more examples of Earth culture. Su-min was busy scanning the Draith with their permission. "Your biological features are amazing. The way your exoskeleton channels light through those patterns must help you communicate without words." "It does," confirmed Krazoth. "We can share basic emotions and warnings through our light patterns. It evolved when our ancestors hunted in darkness." "Brilliant adaptation," Su-min said with real admiration. "Much more efficient than how humans communicate." The Draith seemed pleased by the honest praise. In another part of the ship, Junho was showing 2 Draith the concept of Earth pets. He pulled up pictures on his tablet. "These are cats and dogs, the most common Earth pets," he explained. "Humans keep these small predators in their homes. These creatures have fangs and claws," observed one Draith. "Yet you keep them near your young?" "We not only keep them near our children, we often get pets specifically for our children to care for," Junho explained. "We see it as teaching responsibility and empathy." He showed videos of people cuddling with cats and playing with dogs. "Remarkable," said the Draith. "In most Alliance species, keeping predators as companions would be seen as dangerous and strange. Humans have always had a different relationship with predatory animals," Junho said. "We respect them, but also form bonds with them." Later that day, Tae-Wan received an urgent call from Admiral Galrix. "Captain Kim, the Draith High Command has sent a formal request to the Alliance Council," the Admiral said, his mandibles clicking nervously. "They want to establish special diplomatic relations with humans. This is unprecedented." "Is that a problem?" asked Tae-Wan. "It violates standard Alliance protocols. All diplomatic agreements are supposed to go through Alliance channels, not direct species-to-species arrangements," Galrix explained. "Several council members are concerned this might be the first step toward a military alliance." Tae-Wan sighed. "Admiral, I assure you there's nothing military about our discussions. The Draith are simply fascinated by human culture, particularly our unusual reaction to their appearance." "I understand that, Captain, but politics is about perception. The Murksal Confederation has already moved ships to their border with Draith space. They see this sudden friendship as threatening. The Murksal were methane-breathing aliens from the inner galaxy. They had fought border skirmishes with the Draith in the past." "This is ridiculous," Tae-Wan said. "We're just sharing movies and talking about pets." "Nevertheless, you need to understand the galactic context. For centuries, the Draith have been feared and isolated. Now they're suddenly forming close ties with a new species, one that has advanced rapidly in space travel. Some see this as a power shift." After the call ended, Tae-Wan called his senior officers together. "We have a problem," he told them. "Our friendly talks with the Draith are making other species nervous. They think we might be forming some kind of alliance." "That's silly," said Ji-un. We're just being nice to them. Sometimes being nice to someone others fear can look suspicious, Do-hyun pointed out. Think about school. If you're friendly with the kid everyone's afraid of, people wonder what you're up to. Sumin had been quiet, but now she spoke up. Perhaps we could invite representatives from other alliance species to observe our cultural exchanges. Let them see there's nothing to fear. Good idea, said Taewon. But first, I think we need to explain to the Draith how others are seeing our friendship. When they told Krazoth about the situation, the Draith leader was not surprised. We have long been viewed with suspicion, he said. Our appearance triggers fear responses in most species. That fear leads to mistrust. It's not fair to judge someone by how they look, said Hanyul. Perhaps not, but it is common throughout the galaxy, Krazoth replied. This is why our contact with humans has been so refreshing. You see past our appearance. I have an idea, said Taewon. What if we made a presentation about how humans view different species? We could show how humans have always found beauty in things others might find frightening. A cultural demonstration? Asked Vextal. Would other species attend? If the Alliance Council requests their presence, they would have to, said Do-hyun. It would be a diplomatic event. And so the plan was made. The Horizon would host a special presentation about human perspectives on alien appearances. Representatives from major Alliance species would be invited to attend. 2 weeks later, the Horizon's main hangar had been converted into a large meeting hall. Delegations from 12 Alliance species were present, including the methane-breathing Murexol in their special environmental suits. Welcome to this special cultural exchange, Taewon began. There has been some confusion about the growing friendship between humans and the Draith. Today we hope to explain a unique aspect of human psychology. Hanyul stepped forward. Throughout human history, we have had a complex relationship with predators and things we find frightening. The presentation screen showed images from Earth, ancient cave paintings of dangerous animals, mythological creatures, movie monsters, and modern entertainment. Humans evolved as both predator and prey, explained Sumin. We were not the strongest or fastest on our world. This gave us a unique perspective. We learned to respect and even admire predatory qualities, not just fear them. Ji-yoon showed examples of how humans turned scary creatures into beloved characters in children's stories. We teach our young to see beyond the frightening appearance to find beauty and even cuteness. The Alliance representatives watched in confusion as the humans explained how they made toys of monsters, kept predators as pets, and found joy in stories about scary creatures. This is why humans reacted differently to the Draith, Taewon concluded. Where others saw a frightening appearance, we saw fascinating evolutionary adaptations. Where others felt fear, we felt curiosity and admiration. Ambassador Lirarex of the Murexol stepped forward, his methane suit bubbling. Are you saying humans are not afraid of the Draith because you find predatory features attractive? In a way, yes, Taewon confirmed. Humans often find beauty in the powerful and the dangerous. The Murexol ambassador turned to Krazoth. And this is why the Draith seek closer ties with humans, because they do not fear you? It is more than that, Krazoth replied. For centuries, we have been judged by our appearance. Diplomatic talks fail because other species cannot move past their instinctive fear response. Humans see us as we truly are, not just as monsters. A quiet conversation spread through the gathered aliens. Many seemed to be seeing the situation in a new light. This is a most unusual basis for diplomacy, said another delegate, a tall plant-like being. Judging others not by appearance but by character. Humans have a saying, Taewon said, don't judge a book by its cover. It means, look beyond appearances to find true value. As the presentation ended, many delegates approached the Draith with new interest. Some were still cautious, but the tension had eased. I think they're starting to understand, Do-hyun said quietly to Taewon. It's a beginning, Taewon agreed. Who would have thought that humanity's strange love of monsters would become our greatest diplomatic asset? What none of them realized was that this was just the beginning of how humanity would change galactic diplomacy forever. 1 month after the cultural presentation, The horizon had become a busy place. Word had spread throughout the Alliance about the unusual friendship between humans and the Draith. Now, other species wanted to see this strange phenomenon for themselves. We have requests from 15 different Alliance members to observe our cultural exchanges, said Ji-un during the morning briefing. Everyone wants to see humans interacting with the Draith. It's becoming a tourist attraction, muttered Junho. Next, they'll want souvenirs. Taewon smiled. This is good. The more species that see peaceful interaction with the Draith, the better for everyone. The horizon had been assigned to remain in a neutral sector of space for the next 3 months. Its mission was now official: demonstrate human Draith cultural exchange and help other species overcome their fear of the warrior race. Today, a delegation from the Zith hierarchy was visiting. The Zith were crystalline beings who communicated through light and vibration. They were known for their logical thinking and calm demeanor, but even they became visibly agitated when meeting the Draith face to face. Your body structures appear designed for efficient killing, stated the lead Zith delegate, its crystal form vibrating with caution. Our species evolved as prey. We find your form distressing. This is a normal reaction, said Hanul gently. But try to look at the Draith as we do. See the beauty in their adaptations. What beauty exists in predatory features? Asked the Zith. Sumin stepped forward with her scientific perspective. Consider the elegant efficiency of their exoskeleton. It provides protection while also housing their bioluminescent communication system. Every part serves multiple purposes. Or, look at the precision of their movement, added Junho. Each of those arms can perform delicate tasks despite their strength. The Zith delegate seemed unconvinced. Then a small human girl entered the room. She was Mina, the 8-year-old daughter of one of the Horizon's engineers. The ship had several families on board since it was on a long-term mission. Mina walked straight up to Krazoth, the tallest and most intimidating of the Draith. "Hello, Mr. Krazoth," she said cheerfully. "I made something for you." She held up a drawing. It showed a Draith surrounded by colorful flowers. The Draith in the picture was smiling, which wasn't anatomically accurate but captured a friendly feeling. "This is most kind, young human," said Krazoth, carefully taking the drawing with his sharp claws. "Your artistic skills are developing." "Well," Mina beamed, "can you tell me more stories about Draith children today? I like the one about how they play hide-and-seek in the dark using their light patterns." "It would be my pleasure," Krazoth replied. The Zith delegates watched this interaction with obvious surprise. Their crystalline bodies sparkled with rapid light patterns, their way of showing strong emotion. "The human child shows no fear," observed the lead Zith. "How is this possible?" "Children often see the world more clearly than adults," explained Taiwan. "They haven't learned all the prejudices yet." As the day continued, more examples of human-Draith friendship were displayed. The Zith delegates saw humans and Draith sharing meals, with very different foods, exchanging stories, and even playing simple games together. "Your species continues to surprise us," said the lead Zith delegate as they prepared to leave. "Perhaps there is merit in your approach to interspecies relations." After the Zith departed, Taewon met with his senior officers. "Progress is slow, but steady," he said. "Each delegation leaves less frightened than when they arrived." "But is it enough?" asked Do-hyun. "Some species have hated and feared the Draith for centuries. That won't change overnight." "True change takes time," agreed Hanul. "But we've started something important." In the ship's recreation room, a unique event was taking place. The Draith had offered to teach humans about their traditional arts. A group of crew members watched as Vextal demonstrated Draith light sculpting, an art form where bioluminescent patterns were used to create moving images. "Our ancestors developed this art to tell stories during long space journeys," explained Vextal. Her body glowed with shifting patterns that formed shapes in the darkened room, animals, landscapes, and abstract designs. "It's beautiful," whispered Jiun. "Like living paintings." "Can humans learn to do this?" asked a crew member. "Not with your biology," said Vextal. But we have created devices that can help you experience our art. She handed out small pads that could be attached to human arms. When activated, they projected light patterns similar to Draith bioluminescence. These are simplified, of course, said Mercor. A true Draith artist trains for decades to master the full range of patterns. The humans practiced with the devices, creating simple patterns under the patient guidance of the Draith. There was much laughter as they made mistakes, creating light shows that made no sense in Draith culture. Your pattern just said, "Fish swim in angry clouds," Mercor told one engineer with amusement. Well, that's not what I meant to say. The engineer laughed. In return, the humans taught the Draith about Earth music. The Draith had excellent hearing but processed sounds differently than humans. What humans found harmonious, they sometimes found strange or even unpleasant. Your music contains many conflicting elements, said Krazoth after listening to a classical symphony. It is unlike anything in our culture. That's what makes it interesting, explained Hanul. Human art often combines opposing elements, happy and sad, loud and soft, fast and slow, like your species itself, observed Vextal. You are full of contradictions. You find beauty in danger, comfort in the frightening. I guess we are a bit strange that way, admitted Taiwan. Meanwhile, in another part of the galaxy, news of the human-Draith friendship had reached the highest levels of Alliance leadership. The Alliance Council held a special meeting to discuss this unexpected development. The humans have achieved in months what we couldn't accomplish in centuries, said one council member. They've established genuine cultural exchange with the Draith. It's their unusual psychology, said another. They lack the instinctive fear response that other species have. Whatever the reason, this presents a unique opportunity, said the head counselor. For too long, the Alliance has been divided by biological differences. Species that trigger fear responses in others have been marginalized or isolated. Like the Draith, agreed a council member. And the Vrex, the Kel, the Norvan Swarm, and others, added another. Nearly 20% of intelligent species in the galaxy are avoided because of their appearance. The humans offer a bridge, said the head counselor. They can interact comfortably with species that the rest of us find difficult to face. Are you suggesting we use humans as intermediaries? Asked a counselor. Precisely. A new type of diplomatic corps, staffed primarily by humans, could revolutionize interspecies relations. The council debated the idea for hours. Some worried about giving humans too much diplomatic power as newcomers to the Alliance. Others saw incredible potential in using humanity's unique trait. In the end, they voted to create a pilot program, a special diplomatic initiative focusing on species that had been isolated due to their frightening appearance. Back on the horizon, no one knew about the council's decision yet. The cultural exchanges continued, with new delegations arriving every few days to observe. I never thought I'd be showing aliens how to make stuffed toys, laughed Ji-un, as she helped a group of visitors create plush versions of various Alliance species, including Draith. Nor did I imagine teaching combat techniques to beings half my size, said Krazoth, who had been giving lessons in Draith martial arts to interested human crew members. As evening fell and the ship's lights dimmed to simulate night, Taiwan stood in the observation lounge looking at the stars. Krazoth joined him, his massive form casting a shadow in the dim light. Your species has changed how the galaxy sees mine, said the Draith. For the first time, we are known for more than our frightening appearance. Humans have always been good at looking beneath the surface, said Taiwan. Perhaps because we're not the strongest or fastest, we learned to value other qualities. Or perhaps, said Krazoth, his voice rumbling softly, because your world had many dangerous creatures, you learned that predators can also be beautiful. The two stood in comfortable silence, watching the stars, predator and prey, finding friendship where the galaxy had only expected fear. 3 months after the cultural presentation on the horizon, things seemed to be improving. More Alliance species were making efforts to work with the Draith. Captain Taewon Kim felt proud of what his crew had accomplished. But then, everything changed. Early one morning, Taewon was awakened by an urgent call from Do-hyun. "Captain, you need to come to the bridge right away," his second-in-command said. "We have a serious problem." When Taewon arrived, he found the Senior officers already gathered. Their faces looked worried. "What's happening?" he asked. "We just received this message from Alliance Central," said Ji-Yun, playing a recorded transmission. Admiral Galrix appeared on screen, looking more agitated than Taewon had ever seen him. "Captain Kim, the situation has become critical," the admiral said. "The Marexal Confederation has accused the Draith of stealing classified technology from one of their research outposts. The Draith deny any involvement, but the Marexal aren't listening. They've moved their battle fleet to the border of Draith space." "That doesn't make sense," said Taewon. "The Draith have been working hard to build better relations with everyone." "There's more," Do-hyun said grimly. "The Draith have activated their warships in response, and 3 other major powers have moved their fleets as well, all taking sides. The galaxy is dividing into factions," Ji-Yun explained. "Some believe the Marexal, others support the Draith. It's becoming a powder keg." Taewon sat down heavily in his captain's chair. "How did things fall apart so quickly? We were making such good progress." Suman brought up a star map showing the position of various fleets. "This is bad. If shooting starts, it could spread across multiple sectors." "The Alliance Council has called an emergency summit at Nexus Station," said Do-hyun. "All major powers will attend. We've been ordered to represent Earth. And the Draith specifically requested that we help present their case," added Ji-Yun. "They trust us more than the other Alliance diplomats." "When do we leave?" asked Taewon. "Immediately," said Do-hyun. "The summit begins in 3 days." The Horizon traveled at maximum speed to reach Nexus Station, a massive space station at the crossroads of 5 major trade routes. When they arrived, the docking bays were filled with ships from across the galaxy. Security was tight, with armed guards from multiple species checking everyone who entered. "This is tense," whispered Hanul as they walked through the crowded corridors. "I can feel the hostility." The main conference chamber was a huge room with seating arranged in a circle. Each delegation had its own section. The Draith and Marexal were positioned on opposite sides of the room, as far from each other as possible. As the Earth delegation entered, Krazoth signaled to them from the Draith section. Taewon led his officers to meet with the Draith leader, Captain Kim. "I am grateful you have come," said Krazoth. "The situation has become very dangerous." "What happened?" asked Taewon. "The last I heard, relations were improving." "We are as confused as you," said Vextal. 2 weeks ago, the Marexal accused us of raiding their research station. They claim we stole plans for a new weapon. "Did you?" asked Junho bluntly. "No," said Krazoth firmly. "The Draith do not steal technology. We develop our own, and we certainly would not risk the progress we have made in diplomacy for such a purpose." "Then who did it?" asked Taewon. "We do not know," said Murkor. "But someone wants to destroy the new trust between the Draith and the Alliance." The summit was called to order by the Alliance High Council, 3 elder statesmen from the founding species. The chamber quieted as they took their places. "This emergency session will address the serious accusations made by the Marexal Confederation against the Draith Horde," announced the lead counselor. "Ambassador Lurix will speak first." The Marexal ambassador moved to the center of the chamber, his methane suit bubbling with agitation. "2 weeks ago, our research station in the Vortal system was attacked," he began. "The raiders used advanced stealth technology to approach undetected. They killed 15 of our researchers and stole plans for our latest defensive systems." Murmurs spread through the chamber. "Our security systems recorded the attack," continued Ambassador Lurix. "The raiders used bioships with living hulls, a technology only the Draith possess. We have video evidence." The chamber's screens showed grainy footage of ships attacking a space station. The ships did look like Draith vessels, with their distinctive, organic appearance. "This is clearly an act of war," declared the Marexal ambassador. "The Draith have revealed their true nature, despite their recent diplomatic charm offensive." Krazoth rose next, his towering form commanding attention. "The Draith deny these false accusations," he stated firmly. We did not attack the Murexol station. Yes, those ships resemble our biovessels, but they are not ours. Someone is trying to frame us. Convenient claims, scoffed Ambassador Lurks. Who else uses living ships? The evidence is clear, added another ambassador from a species allied with the Murexol. The Draith have been playing a long game, pretending to seek peace while planning war. The chamber erupted in angry shouts and accusations. Species took sides, some defending the Draith, others condemning them. The High Council tried to restore order, but tensions were too high. Taewon leaned close to his team. Something isn't right. The Draith have been working too hard for peace to throw it all away like this. I agree, said Sumin. But that footage looks convincing. Too convincing, said Jion suddenly. It's almost like someone wanted to make absolutely sure the ships would be identified as Draith. Wait, said Hanul, studying the footage closely. I've spent months learning about Draith biology and culture. Something looks off about those ships. Taewon stood up. High Council, the Earth delegation requests permission to examine the evidence more closely. The lead counselor nodded. Granted. This summit will recess for 2 hours while the Earth delegation reviews the evidence. In a smaller room, Taewon's team pored over the footage and data provided by the Murexol. Look at the bioluminescent patterns. On the ship, Sondia, said Hanul, pointing to the screen. Draith light patterns are never random. They reflect the internal biology of their ships. Sumin enhanced the image. You're right. These patterns are just for show. They don't match the flow systems a living ship would have. And look at the attack pattern, added Junho, the security expert. The raiders knew exactly where to hit and when. That suggests inside knowledge of the station. Or a setup, said Taewon grimly. Someone wanted this to look like a Draith attack. But who would benefit from starting a war? Asked Do-hyun. Jiun had been quiet, but now she spoke up. Maybe someone who doesn't want the Draith to join the alliance? Someone who has always been their enemy? Or someone who profits from conflict, suggested Junho. Weapons dealers, mercenaries, border pirates. When the summit reconvened, tensions remained high. Taewon asked to address the chamber. Honorable delegates, he began. My team has reviewed the evidence, and we believe the Draith are telling the truth. The ships in the footage are fake, designed to look like Draith vessels but lacking the correct biological structures. Absurd, shouted the Murexol ambassador. What would humans know of Draith biology? Hanul stepped forward. For months we have studied Draith culture and biology through direct exchange. These ships show light patterns that are merely decorative, not functional. Real Draith bioships have light patterns that follow specific biological systems. She displayed detailed scans of actual Draith ships compared to the raiders' vessels. The differences were subtle but clear when pointed out. Someone wanted to start a war by framing the Draith, Taewon concluded. I urge the Council to investigate who would benefit from such a conflict before making judgments. The chamber fell, silent as delegates considered this new perspective. The High Council conferred briefly. This summit will extend its investigation, announced the lead counselor. In the meantime, all military forces will maintain their current positions without hostile action. It wasn't a complete victory, but at least war had been postponed. As the delegates filed out, Ambassador Lira RIX approached Taewon. Your species continues to surprise us, said the Murexol. Most would have supported their allies without question, yet you sought the truth. Humans value evidence over assumptions, Taewon replied, and we've learned not to judge by appearances. As they left the chamber, Krazoth joined them. You may have prevented a galactic war today, he said. The Draith will not forget this. Someone is working hard to destroy the progress we've made, said Taewon. We need to find out who before they try again. Back on the horizon, the crew knew their work was far from finished. Peace remained fragile, and somewhere in the galaxy, an enemy was plotting against them. But they had bought time to find the truth, time to build stronger bonds between species, and all because humans weren't afraid of monsters. 1 year had passed since the crisis at Nexus Station. Captain Taewon Kim stood on the bridge of a new ship, the Earth Diplomatic Corps vessel Bridge Builder. This ship was much larger than the Horizon and specially designed to host many different alien species at once. The past year had been busy. After the emergency summit, a joint investigation team led by humans had discovered the truth behind the attack on the Murexol research station. The raiders were mercenaries hired by a criminal organization that sold weapons to both sides of conflicts. They had used fake Draith bioships to start a war that would have made them rich from weapons sales. When the truth came out, the crisis ended. But something more important had happened. The galaxy had learned a valuable lesson about humans. "Captain, all delegations are ready in the conference hall," said Ji-Yoon Park, now Chief of Diplomatic Relations. Taewon nodded. "Thank you. This is an important day." Today was the official opening of the Galactic Cultural Exchange Program, a new initiative created by the Alliance Council. The Bridge Builder was its flagship, and Taewon had been chosen to lead it. The main conference hall was a marvel of engineering. It had different sections for different species. One area had methane gas for the Murexol. Another was extra cold for the ice-dwelling Vrex. A third had high gravity for the Draith. Every alien species could be comfortable here. Taewon entered the hall and walked to the central podium. Around him were representatives from 27 different alien species. Many of them had been enemies before. "Welcome to the first meeting of the Galactic Cultural Exchange Program," Taewon began. "1 year ago, we saw how misunderstandings and fear can almost lead to war. Today we begin a new approach to galactic relations." On large screens around the room, images appeared showing the events of the past year. There were pictures of the fake Draith ships, the arrest of the weapons dealers, and the peace talks that followed. "The crisis taught us something important," continued Taewon. "For too long, species in the galaxy have judged each other by appearance. Those who looked scary or different were feared and isolated." Krazoth, now the official Draith ambassador, stood up. His massive frame towered over the other delegates. "For centuries, the Draith were kept at arm's length," he said. "Our appearance triggered fear in most species. That fear became distrust, then hostility." Ambassador Orcs of the Murexol rose next, his methane suit bubbling. "We were quick to believe the worst about the Draith because they looked like predators. We assumed their nature matched their appearance, but humans showed us a different way," said another delegate, a tall plant-like being. "They look beyond appearance to character." "Humans have a strange trait," said Taewon with a smile. "We evolved alongside many dangerous creatures on Earth. We learned to respect predators, not just fear them. Sometimes we even find them beautiful or cute." Hanuel, now Director of Xenocultural Studies, stepped forward. "We call it monster appreciation. Humans can look at a creature with sharp teeth and claws and think, 'I want to pet it.'" This caused laughter throughout the hall, the different species making their own sounds of amusement. Clicks, whistles, rumbles, and hisses. "This unique human trait has become a valuable diplomatic tool," said Taewon. "For the first time, species that could never meet face-to-face because of instinctive fear responses can now interact through human intermediaries." Su-Min, heading the new Xenobiology Division, displayed her latest research. "We've been studying how different species react to each other. Most negative reactions are based on evolutionary instincts, not actual threats. With training and exposure, these reactions can be reduced. And that is the purpose of this program," said Taewon. "The Bridge Builder will travel throughout Alliance space, hosting cultural exchanges and diplomatic talks between species that have trouble meeting directly. Humans will serve as bridges," added Do-hyun, now a senior diplomat himself. "We'll help species see beyond appearances to find common ground." Over the next several hours, the delegates discussed specific plans. Trade routes would be opened between regions previously separated by biological differences. Research teams with members from multiple species would tackle problems that affected everyone. The Draith, once feared and isolated, would share their advanced biotechnology with the Alliance. In return, they would receive access to Alliance star maps and cultural databases. "This is only the beginning," said Taewon as the meeting neared its end. There are still many challenges ahead. Old fears and habits don't disappear overnight. But we have taken the first steps, said Krezoth, and we have humans to thank for it. 6 months later, the bridge builder was in orbit around a distant world called Naraxis. This planet was home to the Kel, a species so frightening in appearance that they had been isolated for their entire history. The Kel had evolved from cave-dwelling predators. They had 8 limbs, glowing eyes that could see in total darkness, and bodies covered in spines that secreted mild toxins. Most species couldn't even look at pictures of the Kel without feeling terror. But today the first Kel delegation was aboard the bridge builder, meeting with human diplomats. We never thought we would be welcomed by the Galactic community, said the Kel leader, whose name translated as Deep Hunter. Our appearance has always made others flee. Humans see things differently, said Taiwan. We think your bioluminescent eyes are fascinating, not frightening, and the way your spines change color to show your mood is beautiful. You are strange creatures, said Deep Hunter, making a sound that the translator identified as laughter. But we are grateful for your strangeness. The meeting went well. By the end, the Kel had agreed to join the Alliance as an associate member. Another species had been welcomed into the Galactic community. 1 year after the launch of the Galactic HFY Cultural Exchange Program, a special ceremony was held at Alliance Central. A new monument was unveiled, a holographic display showing alien species of all kinds, including those once considered too frightening to include in public spaces. At the center of the display was a simple image, a human child sleeping peacefully, surrounded by stuffed toys made to look like the galaxy's most intimidating species. The plaque beneath it read, "To the species that taught the galaxy to see beauty in the monstrous." In the observation lounge of the bridge builder, Taiwan stood with Krezoth, watching stars streak by as they traveled to their next mission. "Your species has changed everything," said the towering Draith. "For thousands of years the galaxy was divided by fear of differences. Now there is hope for true unity. Humans have always been good at seeing past the surface," said Taiwan. "Maybe because we're weaker than many species, we had to learn to value diversity." "The Alliance scientists have a new theory," said Krezoth. "They believe humans developed this trait because you evolved on a world with so many different predators. You learned to respect rather than only fear." In the ship's recreation room, a group of human children who had come aboard at the last port were playing with young Draith. The children had made colorful drawings of their new alien friends, complete with many eyes and sharp teeth, all drawn with obvious admiration. "Look at my picture of you," said one small girl, holding up her drawing to a young Draith. "I made your teeth extra shiny." The young Draith's bioluminescent patterns glowed with pleasure. "It is beautiful. Can I make a drawing of you too?" Taiwan smiled as he watched. "That's the real future of the galaxy right there," he said to Krezoth. "The next generation won't even remember a time when we were divided by appearance." The day the galaxy learned that humans think monsters are adorable became the day the galaxy learned a new way to see each other, not with fear, but with wonder and acceptance. "To think," said Taiwan, "all this happened because humans just really like making friends with monsters." The end. Captain Do-hyun Kim stood at the viewport of the Earthship Indomitable, watching the massive space station grow larger. Stars dotted the black space around it. This was humanity's big moment, their first official meeting with the Galactic Council. "Captain, we will dock in 10 minutes, said Lieutenant Ji-woo Park. She stood straight, her uniform perfect. The weight of their mission showed in her serious face. "Thank you, Lieutenant." "Is our team ready?" asked Captain Kim. "Yes, sir. The diplomats are prepared, and security has been briefed." Captain Kim nodded. He had been chosen to lead this mission because of his calm thinking and strong will. Earth had discovered it wasn't alone in the universe just 3 years ago. Now they were asking to join the community of spacefaring races. The Indomitable approached the huge ring-shaped station. It sparkled with thousands of lights, and ships of many strange designs moved around it. Humanity was the newest player, in a very old game. "Sir, I'm getting some odd readings from the station," said Communications Officer Han Sol Choi. Their security protocols seem unusual. Lieutenant Park frowned. How so? They want our weapons system shut down completely, not just locked, and they're requesting access to our ship's computer network. Captain Kim walked to the console. Deny the network access. Tell them it's against Earth regulations, but comply with the weapons shutdown. He turned to his security chief. Sergeant Bayek, I want your team ready but not obvious. Keep sidearms hidden but accessible. Yes, sir, Sergeant Min Ho Baek replied. I don't like this either. It's probably nothing, said Captain Kim. Just different ways between species. Remember, some of these civilizations have been spacefaring for thousands of years. The ship docked with a gentle bump. Captain Kim straightened his uniform and addressed his team. Today we represent not just our nations or ourselves, but all of humanity. Our job is to show the galaxy that humans deserve a place at their table. The welcome area of the station was huge and bright. The ceiling arched high above them, with light streaming through clear panels. Beings of many shapes, sizes, and colors moved about. Some looked almost human. Others were completely alien, floating gas clouds in containment fields, tall, insect-like creatures, and small, furry beings with too many eyes. An Alarian representative approached. The Alarians looked mostly human, except for their blue-tinted skin and large, all-black eyes. This one wore flowing robes with symbols of office. Captain Kim of Earth, welcome to Harmony Station. I am Coordinator Naxil. We are pleased to host humanity's first formal visit to the Council. Captain Kim bowed slightly. Thank you for the welcome, Coordinator. We are honored to be here. The summit begins in 3 hours. Until then, your team may rest in the quarters we've prepared. There will be a welcome reception before the formal meetings. As they followed Naxil through the station, Lieutenant Park whispered to the captain, Sir, I count at least 20 security checkpoints. That seems excessive for a peace conference. I noticed too, said Captain Kim quietly. Stay alert, but remember we're guests. We follow their rules while watching our backs. The Earth delegation was given a large suite with separate rooms and a common area. The windows looked out on the stunning view of nearby planets and the swirl of a distant nebula. It's beautiful, said Dr. Seo-Jin Kang, the lead scientist. Think of all we can learn from these civilizations. Captain Kim smiled at her excitement but turned to Sergeant Bayek. Sweep the rooms. Check for listening devices or anything unusual. Already on it, sir, said Bayek, his team quietly working, with small scanners. The reception hall buzzed with delegates from 30 different worlds. Servers moved through the crowd with food and drinks made for many types of biology. Music that sounded strange to human ears played softly. Captain Kim and his team stayed together, accepting greetings from curious aliens. Most seemed friendly, asking polite questions about Earth. A few stayed away, watching the humans with what seemed like concern. They're studying us, said Lieutenant Park, like we're a new animal in a zoo. We are new to them, replied Captain Kim. And unknown things can be scary. A tall, thin alien with gray skin approached. You are the humans, yes? I am Ambassador Krell of the Vindari Confederation. Your kind is unexpected. Most new species take centuries to develop after contact. Humans tend to work quickly when motivated, said Captain Kim. So we have heard, said Krell. There are concerns about your species. Your history is quite violent. We've had our struggles, admitted Captain Kim. But we've learned from them. That's why we're here, to join a peaceful community and grow beyond our past. Before Krell could respond, the lights flickered. A moment later, a loud boom shook the station. People stumbled and glasses fell to the floor and broke. Captain Kim grabbed his communicator. Kim to Indomitable. Report. Only static answered. For him. The station's alarms began to blare. Red emergency lights flashed. Panic spread through the crowd as more explosions sounded in the distance. Security team to me, ordered Captain Kim. His people moved quickly, forming a protective circle around the Earth diplomats. The main doors burst open. Armed figures in black armor rushed in, weapons raised. They weren't station security. Their armor was mismatched and they moved with aggressive purpose. "Nobody move," shouted their leader, a large being with ridged skin and 4 arms, each holding a weapon. "This station is now under the control of the Void Collective." Screams and shouts filled the room. Some delegates tried to run but were quickly caught by the armed intruders. "I am Commander Krax," the leader announced. "Your governments have ignored our demands for too long. Now you will listen." Captain Kim watched carefully, noting the positions of the attackers and possible exits. He caught Lieutenant Park's eye and made a small hand signal. She nodded almost invisibly. Coordinator Naxel stepped forward, hands raised. "Please, there's no need for violence. The Council will hear your grievances." "The time for talk is over," said Krax. "Now is the time for action. Each of your worlds will receive our demands within the hour. You have exactly 1 planetary rotation to comply, or we start executing delegates." The room fell silent with shock. "You," Krax pointed at different delegates. "The Vindari, the Ilarians, the Telnashi, and, the new species, the humans. Your leaders will be the first to receive our terms." Captain Kim said nothing, his face calm. The attackers began separating the delegates by species, herding them into groups. One approached Captain Kim. "Your weapons, hand them over." "We are unarmed," said Captain Kim, "as required by station protocol." The attacker scanned him, then moved to the next human. Coordinator Naxel was brought to Krax. "You must set up communication channels to our governments," the Ilarian said, voice shaking. "This is the standard procedure in these situations." "Of course," said Kraxix. "Each senior delegate will contact their homeworld and deliver our demands, starting with you." As Naxil was taken away, Captain Kim whispered to Lieutenant Park, "How many attackers do you count?" "At least 30 in this room, probably more throughout the station." "And they've cut communications with our ship," added Captain Kim. "Standard terrorist tactic." An attacker shoved a communications device toward Captain Kim. "You, human, turn to contact your leaders." Captain Kim took the device but didn't activate it. "I said, contact your government," the attacker demanded. "No," said Captain Kim simply. The room went quiet again. Even the attackers seemed surprised. "What did you say?" asked Krax, walking over. "I said no," repeated Captain Kim. "I will not deliver your demands." "This is not how this works," said Krax, pointing a weapon at him. "You call your leaders and tell them our terms, or I kill you now." "Humans don't bargain with terrorists," said Captain Kim calmly. "It's not just our policy, it's our principle." Coordinator Naxil looked horrified. "Captain, please, this is the protocol. We negotiate to save lives." "Not where I come from," said Captain Kim. He stared directly at Krax. "Whatever you're planning, know this. If you harm any of us, Earth won't rest until every member of your collective is brought to justice." Lieutenant Park leaned close to him. "Sir, with respect, this goes against standard galactic procedure." "We're not the galaxy," Captain Kim replied quietly. "We're humans, and we have our own way of handling this." While everyone's attention was on him, Captain Kim pressed a hidden button on his uniform collar. A small light blinked 3 times, the signal that Protocol Omega was now in effect. Somewhere in the depths of space, a message was racing toward Earth, and when it arrived, the Void Collective would learn why humans refused to bargain with terrorists.